Hi, Loveable Lou here. I'm going to tell you what I did to stop restless leg syndrome and what I do if I think I'm going to catch a cold. If you've been following any of my videos, you'll know that I do coffee enemas, and it took me a long time to really get my head around that, to actually put something in my bum and think it's going to help me, right? And it did. Like, it's amazing. It's amazingly good. Like, once you get the toxins coming out of your body, then the parasites will start leaving the body, and then you start feeling great, and then you start to realize, like, oh my gosh, this is what's been doing it. So then you start worrying about what you eat, you start caring. But anyway, I want to talk about something that's helped me, because I had restless leg syndrome so bad for years and years and years. Couldn't sleep. I don't know if you ever had this. If you're watching this, it's because you've had it. So it's like your legs just want to start kicking and running and running and kicking. So I learned about iridology, and I started reading my own eyes, learning about it, and I found out that my adrenals were like they were kicked up, like they were moved, like they were going as if I was in sympathetic mode. That means that it's like fight or flight. Like my adrenals were going, and they were. That's what's causing your restless leg syndrome, right? Because your legs want to get you running, and then anyway. So then I discovered lavender. So essential oil of lavender calms the adrenals down. Okay, so it smells nice and everything, and we use it. My wife has these dryer balls. We use it in the dryer balls. We use it as much as we can. So this gets on my skin eventually anyway. So I wasn't about to drink this, but I wanted to use it. And then I discovered that if you put this in a suppository, that means a pill that you push up or into your bum. So this will get to your adrenals. Well, I'm sick and tired of not sleeping, and I want to sleep, so I try anything. So I started looking online and figuring out how to make my own suppositories. And you know, oddly enough, suppositories were like a common thing a long time ago. Doctors gave them or didn't administer them, but they would tell you to take a suppository. So they were commonplace. I don't know why they became uncommon. I guess people didn't like doing that stuff. They'd rather take the pill, so much easier. But anyway, so I started learning how to make suppositories. So I've learned 3 different ways. Okay, 3 different ways to make a suppository. Well, if you have these blister packs, right, with pills in them and stuff, you can use the blister pack. And it might be a good way for you to start if you're a little paranoid about all this. So I've made some already with a set of blister pack right there. And what I use is this white stuff here is coconut oil. So I've already taken my jar of coconut oil. I put it on not the heating element, but the warming element on my stove, and you put like a dish towel over it, and then it heats it up and it gets all liquefied, right? So I use this stuff, the coconut oil, and I put it into these little trays. Now, if you're ambitious like me, you can go bigger than this. So you can go to this kind of tray here, which is just like a dollar store tray where you can push out your ice cubes out of the bottom, but we're going to be using it for suppositories. Then if you're really ambitious, what I did was I went down to eBay and I ordered a bunch of these, well, 2 anyway, and these to me are the best. So what you do with those, so these ones here, they make this type of thing, and these are ice cube trays to make ice cubes to put in water bottles. So if you're looking for that, just type in water bottle ice cube tray, and they make these kinds. right? And what I do is I cut them all in half when I'm done, because I don't want the whole thing. I just want half. In any event, whichever you do, this type, or maybe even this type, what you might want to do is take a little paring knife, and where this was really hard on the top, like this is solidified and it's made a sharp edge here, right? So you can just pare that down, kind of give it an angle, and then use your fingers just to warm it up. Okay? I also lubricate it with coconut oil before I put it in as well, just to help it out a little bit. And if you've never put in a suppository before, it's an interesting feeling. You wear a rubber glove and you lubricate it, you lubricate the suppository, and then as soon as it gets in, it's like something magical just pulls it right in. So follow it in with your finger, make sure it goes all the way in. And actually, the first time I did it, I thought that my bum would be like just one little orifice, but it's not. It's like it's about that deep of meat or something, and you have to get it in there. It's an interesting feeling, but it doesn't hurt. That's why I trim the edges off. It used to bother me when they felt sharp, so you just trim that off with a knife and you're good. Anyway, here's how I make them. I'll be right back. I'm just going to put this back in the freezer. All that stuff back in the freezer before it starts to melt. And you have a lot of time. Like these have been out for like 15 minutes now and they're just starting to melt. So you have time. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is, no matter what method you use, you're going to want to fill them halfway first with coconut oil. All right? So to do that, what I use is, this I've used many times on different projects. This is a syringe I got for, when I bought one of those kits for filling ink cartridges. So I use that. And it does a great job because I can fill, and you have to have this really liquidy. As soon as it starts to get any kind of solidification to it, this coconut oil, it doesn't work very well. So then you take this syringe and then you just layer it. There you go. You just put a layer down. Just put a layer. Just not much at all. Okay, and you do that to all of them. Now we're going to need this to be solid, so what I do now is I take this and throw it in the freezer. This is where the syringe comes in handy. Just, we're doing the small one. It's really handy. So I'm just going to take this, throw it in the fridge. Actually, you don't even have to put it in the freezer. The fridge is quick enough. I'll be right back. And the same goes with these other ones. You can use whatever you like. I don't know, I got this big kick-ass syringe here. I can use this and see if that'll work. Okay, and I can fill all my trays, just layer the bottom. Super quick, super easy. Now this tray here makes 2 per slot, right? So really is nice. There, that one's done. And for these trays here, you can do the same thing. You just want to layer the bottom. Oh, the syringe is so much faster and cleaner than doing it any other way. Get rid of the needle. This is so easy and fast. Unbelievable. That one I put too much in. There we go. So that's done for now. Now, I'm going to take these, I'm going to put them in the fridge. I'll be right back. I'm going to talk about other things. what you're going to do when you put these in, you think they're going to be uncomfortable because they're freezing cold, right? And they're not. They're not uncomfortable at all. So you don't even feel the freezing cold. Now, when they come out of the fridge, we're going to add some drops of lavender to them. But I want to talk about some other stuff too. The garlic. So half of mine I make with garlic. Right, so what I do is I take the garlic clove, you know, like a normal everyday garlic clove. So there's, and then I'll squeeze that or compress it or mulch it up. Anyway, so I have like this kind of garlic press, which my wife just bought. She thinks it's really cool. I think it's really cool. What I'm going to do is I've got another clove here. I'm going to use my machine here. And I had some camera trouble, so that's why this has already been done. So I'm going to do it again for you. So you put this little cup in there. We have our clove, and we just compress it right into the cup, so you can see it going into the cup right there. Okay, and then it's just a question of taking this out. And what I didn't like about it is the squares are too big, where using the other garlic press, it made very small pieces. More of a press. This is more of a cutter. So it cuts the garlic into squares, which I'm sure will work just fine, right? And this does not look like it's going to be easy to clean. I'm glad I got a dishwasher. Anyway, so you can do it either way if you want. There's another method too that I like. So I discovered all this garlic stuff that's good for you. Like I said, when somebody told me to try eating garlic, and I did, and it really cleared up my cold. So here's another method I like doing. This is so quick, and I'm just peeling off all the skin off the garlic. Such a quick method. I'm going to take this garlic, I'm going to skin it, and then I'm going to break the end off of this, right? And I'm going to take this fork, and then I'm going to start poking the garlic all over with the fork. Okay, all around, as deep as I can. Nice holes in it. Okay. Now, what I do with this is I put coconut oil on it, and it becomes my suppository. So I put that into me, and oddly enough, it works just as good. And you don't get the stinky breath. You don't have to burn your mouth chewing it all up. And if you fart, it smells like garlic. But if you fart with the suppository of lavender, it smells like lavender. So I don't know. When you mix the two together, you get an interesting smell too. So yeah, this is a really quick, down and dirty way to do it, and it works really well. So you just coat that with some coconut oil, and in she goes. If you've never put anything in there, it's kind of interesting because you would think it's just this little hole and it just goes in, but it isn't. It's a long tunnel, and it's not straight in. It's just kind of down towards your taint. And I guess if you don't know what a taint is, it's a taint sex organ and then a taint bum. It's in the between area. So that's where it goes down to. So it works really well. Now I'm going to go and see how my fridged suppositories are doing, and my dog wants in. Okay, so these have been in the fridge not very long at all, like 10 minutes maybe, and they're already solidified. You know, that's coconut oil, right? Coconut oil doesn't take much to get it hard, and solidification happens, I believe it's like at 24 degrees Celsius. So we have solid coconut oil when we go away for the summer on a vacation or something and turn the air conditioning off in the house. We come back and it's all like this. So that's how quick it happens. Anyway, so here's what you're going to do. So for the little ones, everything I just put 2 drops of lavender. So what you do is, and I'm so lucky that I happened to stumble upon a lavender bottle with an actual dropper. That's so cool, because most of them don't come like that. Like, you gotta make the drops come out by shaking the bottle. So here we have an actual dropper. So these little ones are for, like, I don't know, people that are a little worried about this, don't think they can handle it. But just put 2 drops right in the middle of the coconut, just 2 drops, like maybe 1 on each side. So I put a couple of drops of each. I don't think it would hurt even if you had 3 drops. Just 2 drops work good for me. Okay, so then you have that in there. Next, you take your coconut oil that you have in the syringe, or you can use a spoon, whatever, and just top these up. Right, so you're just putting another layer over the oil. And then I'll put this right in the freezer, and it'll be ready. And that's it. This one's done. I'm going to throw that in the freezer right now. Now I'm going to do the same with the smaller ice cube tray. 1, 2, just 2 drops each. I'll tell you, I just love not having restless leg syndrome anymore. This is well worth it. And what I do is I insert these things at any time. Like, just before bed is all right, but I do it like any time. You can do it after supper, or you can do it in the morning. It doesn't matter. So I'm just going to top these up. I'm going to add a little bit of coconut oil to this. I'm running out. Take some more in. This stuff's still warm, eh? It's been sitting there for a while. Yeah, I know, I got a Canadian A. I have American friends tease me about that. Just can't seem to talk without saying A. And you don't have to fill this tray right up, unless you're a real man. You can just do what I did, just get a half full is fine. So what you're trying to do is just encapsulate the oil. So that's ready for the freezer. And they're just like, just up to here. It's not much at all. Now for this one I want to do it a little more different. So these ones here, I'm going to cut them in half when they're done. So I'll take them out of the tray, and then I'll cut them in half, and then I'll put them into a Ziploc, and they'll be ready for me to use. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the lavender, and I could make these just garlic if I want. It depends, whichever you want. But I don't want restless leg syndrome, so anytime I do this, I want to take advantage of this lavender stuff. So I'm just going to drip it, 2 drips, 1 on each side, because these are going to be cut in half. And it doesn't matter if you get 3 drips. You know, it just, like, you might need more of this, I don't know. But I don't even remember if it like worked perfect the first time, or if it just took me a couple of days or 3 days before it started to work. But oh boy, once it started working, I was so happy. Now you can take this stuff here, and you can use like a little spoon. I got this little tiny spoon here, and you can spoon it in, And remember, you're working with 2 halves, so just put a little bit on one side. That's why I prefer the whole garlic myself, right? And then the other side, okay. There you go. And you just continue doing this. Like I said, you need a lot of garlic. And you just keep doing this until you get it all done. Now, for me, I prefer just to put the whole garlic in. It's so much easier and more potent. This year I'm not getting anywhere near a whole garlic into me. And I might even just make some of these just plain old. So it doesn't take a lot of effort, you know? And for something that gives you so much ease, like to be able to sleep again is incredible, and it's so healthy to be able to sleep, because this restless leg syndrome stuff really sucks. Okay, but the garlic is not for that. The garlic is for the stopping you from catching a cold, or if you're getting a cold, you can't stop it dead in its tracks. Okay, and I think this might be enough to finish it. I love the smell of garlic. Oh, you know, I was lucky. I grew up with a father that loved garlic, and he'd put garlic on everything. The man could eat garlic like he would take an entire garlic and eat it just while watching TV and stuff, and I could never do that because it's just too hot. And growing it fresh in the backyard was the way he liked to do it. So anyway, I'm not going to bore you with the rest, but what you do is, again, you take this coconut oil, and you can use a spoon, you don't have to use a syringe. And the coconut oil is starting to get too cold, because this is getting really hard to pull in. Yeah, it's just getting cold. Okay, so again, then you top these up. Okay, and your garlic's going to float around a little bit. That's fine. Top these up. And then they're ready for the freezer. So easy. Yeah, this stuff's getting needs to be heated up some more. And that's it. I'll just throw that in the freezer with the other egg tray. Super cool. You're gonna love it. I know it's really weird. Get your head around to doing this. It's so hard to get your head around. It's just like doing a coffee enema. It's like such a big deal to get the head around that. It's so hard. But once you get your head around it and you try it, you're going to be amazed at how simple it is, and it doesn't hurt, and it works. That's the neat part. So taking them out of the ice tray, I'll see if I can, yeah, I'll show you how to do that. Super easy. Got them out of the freezer. I made a couple, and I'm going to just put them in a Ziploc bag. It's a little easier when you need one. So all you do is just pop them out. They pop out real easy. And they start to melt right away, so you want to get them in the bag. They melt just right on your hands. So these don't take long, these tiny ones. The big ones do, they're very nice. So before you put these in, remember, just try to use your thumb to heat up the edges and get them a little more round, or use a knife first. But they start melting pretty quick. I'm going to drop them in the freezer right now. Okay, so that didn't take long, maybe 5 minutes, and they're all frozen. So really easy. Just flip it over and push down on all these buttons. and you're done. Okay, then you can take this, throw it in the dishwasher. Take those ones. Like I said, before you use them, you might want to trim off the edge, or you can just warm them up with your fingers like this and it rounds them out nicely. And I even lube them up some more with some more coconut oil. Okay, that one was easy, super easy. That's probably like a lot. Like, this isn't something you're going to have to do every day. You know, but okay, so we're just going to take this. Now this one was a little more difficult because see how it breaks? So what I had to do was I had to kind of warm them up or get them out is difficult because they break. So this won't be that much good. Nice and gentle. Nice and gentle. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to line them up upside down and cut them. You can see the garlic, you can see it floated to the top. I wouldn't say floated, just you can see remnants of it on the top. There we go. That's done. Now what you do is just cut them in half, like this, and you're put them in the bag and you're good. So I'll save these, like if I have a cold or something, I'll use the other ones just to keep my restless leg syndrome away. It's not something you have to do every day. Like, once I started doing this, I did it every day for, I don't know, 3 weeks. And you know what? Stopped doing it. And I was fine. And then last night I did another one just to make sure. Because I was worried I was going to start getting it again. I didn't want to get restless leg syndrome again. But this seemed to work really well for me. You know, I'm not a doctor, I'm not anything, so I'm just a person that wants to do things on his own and wants answers and does not want to be hooked on any drugs or reliant on any medical care. I want to be like my philosophy is we should be healthy until we die. A nice quick death in your sleep would be perfect. In my sleep would be perfect anyway, at the age of like 100 and something. But anyway, that's it. I'm all done. Hope you enjoyed this video. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you like this. I got more to come. And you know, it's all about your health, right? Loveable Lou here. See you later.